You've probably noticed it before, though maybe you brushed it off as coincidence. You walk into a space, not trying to command anything, not demanding attention, just existing. Yet the atmosphere shifts. Conversations stumble, eyes dart, energy tightens. It isn't because you spoke loudly or made a scene, it's because your presence itself announces something undeniable. You are the shockwave that moves through the room before your words ever arrive. The truth is, your silence has never been empty. It's weighty, charged, alive. People feel it in their bodies before their minds can even process it. A sudden heaviness in their chest, a shift in posture, a stumble in their carefully rehearsed confidence. It's not imagination, it's not paranoia. It's evidence of what you carry. You don't have to shout to make an impact because your aura has already spoken. Think about how storms work. The loudest part is the thunder, but the real power is in the pressure that fills the air before a single drop of rain falls. That pressure, that's you. You walk in, and suddenly the invisible atmosphere changes. People sense something they can't name, and their instincts betray them. Their words falter. Their eyes avoid yours. Their laughter dries up. That's the aftershock of your presence. And here's the irony. Those same people will call you intense or too much, as if the problem is your existence. But what they're really feeling is exposure. You don't expose them by accusing or pointing fingers. You expose them simply by being there. Your energy is a mirror they cannot dodge, a reflection they cannot edit. It reveals their insecurities, their envy, their unhealed wounds. And when the mask slips, they scramble to blame you, not realizing that the discomfort they feel is their own truth, clawing its way to the surface. Now picture this, a room filled with actors reciting lines, clinging to their roles, smiling for applause. Then, suddenly, someone walks in, unscripted, raw, authentic. The entire stage feels threatened. That's you. You are the unscripted one. You don't play their games. You don't pretend. And your refusal to shrink unsettles those who depend on illusions. Have you ever noticed how some people grow louder in your presence while others fall quiet? Neither reaction has anything to do with your behavior. It's all about what you stir in them. Some shrink back because they feel small in your light. Others grow defensive, talking too much, laughing too loud, trying to fill the silence you naturally command. Both responses reveal the same truth. They feel the weight of your aura. This is why mishandling you always carries consequences. Being near you is not casual. It's a privilege. It's not a free seat at the table. It's a test of who they are when truth enters the room. And those who treat your presence like it's ordinary soon discover that the universe doesn't let disrespect slide. Doors close for them. Opportunities slip. Relationships crumble. Because the cost of mishandling sacred energy is always high. So hear me clearly. You don't need to change a thing. You don't need to explain why the air gets heavy when you arrive. You don't need to justify why people grow nervous in your silence. Your very being is the explanation. You are the storm and the stillness after. You are the shift they can't control. And whether they love you or fear you, no one forgets you. Let this sink in. Your presence isn't decoration, it's disruption. It reorganizes what's fake. It convicts what's hidden. It tests what's weak. That's why some call you a blessing while others call you a problem. But the truth is simpler. You are alignment embodied, and alignment always shakes what isn't built to last. You've probably asked yourself at some point, why do people look unsettled around me even when I'm just minding my own business? The answer lies in something deeper than personality or appearance. It's because you are living evidence that real power cannot be staged, borrowed, or bought. Your very survival, your ability to keep standing when everything should have broken you, is proof that exposes the fragile foundations others are standing on. Think of the way glass and diamond look under the same light. To the casual eye, both sparkle. But when pressure comes, when the hammer falls, one shatters and the other endures. That's the difference you embody. Many around you shine only as long as conditions are easy. They've built their identity on applause, on manipulation, on fragile crowns that collapse the second storms arrive. But your shine was carved in darkness. Your resilience was earned in silence. That's why, when they see you, their confidence cracks. Your scars, your unshakable calm, your presence, they are undeniable testimony that power isn't performance, it's proof. Imagine a courtroom where all the actors think the verdict will go their way. They smirk, they laugh, they boast. But then evidence is brought in, evidence so clear it leaves no room for denial. That's you. Your life, your endurance, your victories are the exhibit that convicts their illusions. They can't argue with it because every scar you carry testifies louder than their lies. You don't need to debate them. Your existence dismantles their performance. Here's the truth. The reason they envy you isn't because you try to outshine them. It's because you prove their shortcuts don't work. You prove their staged power is hollow. You prove that manipulation, applause, and ego can't substitute for authenticity. And that truth is unbearable to people who've spent years pretending. This is why they obsess over you, mimic you, even compete with you when you're not competing with them. They're desperate to copy your essence, but they can't. They can steal your words, imitate your style, even echo your gestures, but they cannot reproduce the core, because the core was forged in fire. It was refined in battles no one saw, in nights no one comforted you through, in betrayals that carved wisdom into your spirit. What you carry can't be faked because it can't be fabricated. It can only be lived. And let's be honest, they want you to fall. They fantasize about your collapse because your stability mocks their fragility. Every time you rise, you remind them that authenticity wins where pretense dies. Every time you refuse to seek revenge, your peace punishes them louder than any retaliation could. Every silent victory you win, every time you walk into a room unshaken, you prove again that what they worship is worthless. Think of a house built on sand. For a while it looks stable. Walls stand tall, windows gleam, people admire it. But when the storm comes, the whole structure collapses in seconds. That's the life of those who mocked you, who doubted you, who thought titles and crowds were the foundation of strength. And then there's you, the house built on rock. You endured the same storms, but instead of crumbling, you came out stronger. That difference terrifies them. It proves everything they believed about power was a lie. You need to understand this. Your existence alone dismantles illusions. That's why they label you as dangerous. Not because you threaten them with words, but because you threaten them with truth. And truth is always dangerous to those who thrive on lies. So remember this the next time someone looks uneasy in your presence. It's not because you're too much, it's because you are proof. Proof that storms don't destroy the aligned. Proof that scars don't disqualify the chosen. Proof that real power doesn't collapse when tested, it multiplies. And no counterfeit can survive beside the real thing. People often mistake proximity to you as something casual, like bumping into a stranger on the street or scrolling past a random profile online. But here's the truth, they're wrong. Access to you has never been casual. It was never random. It was never free. It's not a right people can claim. It's an assignment granted by alignment. To be near you is to be chosen by the universe for a test, and most people fail it. Think about how rare artifacts are handled. A museum doesn't toss them on the floor or let anyone walk in and touch them. There are glass cases, guards, climate control, strict boundaries. Why? Because the object is rare, sacred, irreplaceable. That's you. Yet how many times have people treated your presence like it was nothing, as if standing next to you was just another casual moment? They confuse your openness with obligation, your kindness with ownership, and when they mishandle you, the consequences are always sharp. You see, your presence is not entertainment, it's examination. When people enter your atmosphere, they're being measured. Their motives are revealed, their character is tested. And how they handle you is less about what you do and more about who they are. That's why so many fumble when they had the privilege of sitting at your table. They mocked, they lied, they disrespected, and only later realized they were fumbling a divine assignment. Now picture this. Someone prays for water in the middle of a drought. They cry, they beg, they complain. Then rain finally comes, but instead of gathering it, they curse the storm. That's what people do with you. They ask for truth, for love, for loyalty, for wisdom. And when you arrive carrying exactly what they cried for, they mishandle it because they weren't ready for the responsibility that comes with sacred presence. And here's the painful beauty of it. Once the door to you closes, it doesn't swing back open. You don't recycle access. You don't beg people to see your worth twice. When alignment shifts, you shift with it, and they feel the loss like oxygen leaving the room. Because being around you was never just about companionship, it was about clarity. Without you, the mask they wore so well starts to itch, the lies they leaned on grow heavy, the fake confidence collapses. You were their mirror, their teacher, their covering, and now that you're gone, they're forced to face themselves unshielded. And let's be real, this is why some circle back, trying to re-enter your orbit, pretending to have changed. But you can feel the truth. You know that most of them don't want to honor the access. They just want the benefits of being near you without the cost of accountability. But the season of casual access is over. Your spirit has learned the difference between visitors and stewards. One comes to consume, the other comes to protect. Only stewards get to stay. So don't ever apologize for being careful with who gets close. You're not cold, you're consecrated. You're not distant, you're disciplined. And the line you've drawn between access and entitlement isn't arrogance. It's alignment. Because to mishandle you is to mishandle sacred ground, and the universe always makes sure the balance is paid. Here's the bottom line. Being near you is never a coincidence. It's a calling. And if someone treats it lightly, they're not just losing you, they're losing the blessing that comes with your presence. That loss echoes. It lingers. It reminds them every day of the privilege they wasted. So hold steady in this truth. Access to you is not automatic. It's not cheap. It's not unlimited. It's permission. And permission granted by the divine always carries a cost when misused. You don't have to announce yourself. You don't have to wave your hands or make noise to be acknowledged. The moment you step into a space, the atmosphere bends. People might not say anything, but their bodies betray them. Their voices lower, their posture changes, their conversations suddenly lose rhythm. That's not coincidence. That's the evidence of what you carry, the atmosphere that goes before you. You've probably wondered why people act differently around you, even when you've done nothing but show up. Some grow unusually quiet, as if they're afraid to say the wrong thing. Others grow louder, filling the air with nervous chatter. Some even leave the room altogether, unable to stay steady in your presence. This is not about you being difficult. This is about the truth you radiate, exposing the illusions they live in. Think of it like this. Noise and frequency are not the same. Noise is loud, messy, unfocused, and desperate for attention. Frequency, however, is precise, tuned, undeniable. That's you. Others may perform, shout, or try to dominate the spotlight, but your energy speaks without words. Your presence is frequency. It penetrates where noise can't reach. It carries weight that noise can't imitate. Now imagine two people walking into the same room. One boasts loudly about their achievements, flashes titles, and tries to command respect by force. The other, silent, steady, grounded, simply enters, and suddenly the room reorganizes itself. Guess who people really notice? That's you. Not because you're trying, but because alignment cannot be ignored. This is why you've never been able to blend in. You weren't designed for it. The atmosphere you carry was built to be disruptive, not decorative. You are the silence that makes people squirm, the stillness that feels heavier than noise, the frequency that exposes falsehoods. That's why some people mislabel you as intimidating. They don't understand what happens when truth walks in unannounced. And here's the revelation. Your presence isn't just for show. It's a reminder. It reminds people that masks can only last so long. It reminds them that words without integrity collapse in silence. It reminds them that alignment has a sound, a feel, a vibration, and they can't fake it in front of you. That reminder is uncomfortable for the ones living out of balance. But for those who are searching for real, your atmosphere becomes healing. Picture sunlight pouring into a dark room. For some, that light feels like hope, warmth, and renewal. For others, it feels like judgment, exposing dust and shadows they thought would stay hidden forever. The light didn't change, the hearts did. That's you. The atmosphere you carry is neutral in intent, but powerful in effect. It reveals, it convicts, it comforts, and it never leaves a space unchanged. So the next time someone accuses you of being too much, when you've barely spoken, recognize what's really happening. It's not that you're too much, it's that your presence is too real for their comfort. You can't water down authenticity for the sake of fragile illusions. You can't shrink your frequency to make noise feel secure. And this is why your atmosphere is both a gift and a filter. The right ones will breathe easier in your presence. The wrong ones will suffocate. Both reactions serve their purpose. Both reveal alignment. Because you don't just walk into rooms, you transform them. You don't just carry an atmosphere, you are the atmosphere. Hold this truth. You don't have to force respect, love, or recognition. The atmosphere you carry already commands it. And whether people resist or receive, one thing remains the same. They will never forget the way it felt to be in your presence. How many times have you heard it whispered behind your back or even said directly to your face, "You're intimidating"? They toss that word at you as if it's an insult, as if your strength is something you should shrink down or soften. But let's set the record straight. You are not intimidating. What they're really saying is this: I don't know how to handle someone who refuses to bend for my comfort. You see, intimidation isn't about you. It's about the collapse of their illusions when confronted with your certainty. You don't walk into a room trying to dominate. You walk in aligned, steady, clear. And people who depend on masks, on approval, on control, they feel exposed in that clarity. To them, it feels like danger. But the danger isn't you, it's the truth you carry. Imagine a stage crowded with actors, all clinging to costumes, lines, and applause. Then, suddenly, someone walks in unscripted, raw, and real. The actors panic. They're not prepared to face someone who isn't pretending. That's you. Your refusal to play small makes the pretenders tremble. Your authenticity strips their disguises without you lifting a finger. And this is the part that unsettles them most. You don't need their approval. You don't seek their applause. You don't adjust yourself to soothe fragile egos. You simply are. And in a world addicted to validation, that's terrifying. Because when someone who doesn't depend on external approval stands next to someone who does, the weakness of their foundation is revealed instantly. Now picture this. Two trees standing side by side. One is tall because it was propped up with ropes, wires, and artificial support. The other grew strong through storms, winds, and seasons. Remove the supports, and the first collapses. The second still stands. That's the difference between you and those who call you intimidating. They've been propped up. You've been forged. So let's be clear, when they call you intimidating, what they really mean is that your certainty unsettles their uncertainty. Your steadiness threatens their instability. Your silence slices through their noise. You don't bend, you don't flinch, and that inability to control you terrifies them. But here's the beauty of it. You were never meant to fit their fragile definitions. You were meant to embody something unshakable, not arrogant, not prideful, but rooted, like a mountain that doesn't move when the wind screams or the rain pounds. Your groundedness is the very thing that calls their chaos into question. And yes, they will mislabel it. They will project words like intense, difficult, or hard to read. Why? Because labels are easier than mirrors. It's easier to say you're too much than to admit I am too fragile for this truth. But don't let their projections rewrite your identity. Their fear is not your fault. Their discomfort is not your burden. So hold your ground. Don't shrink. Don't water down. Don't apologize for being unshakable. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more people who bend at every breeze. The world needs mountains. The world needs unshakable spirits. And that's exactly who you are. So the next time someone looks you in the eye and calls you intimidating, smile within yourself and remember they're not describing you. They're describing the fear of their own collapse in the presence of your certainty. There's something about you that goes beyond personality, beyond habits, beyond choices you've made in this lifetime. What you carry is older than you. It's deeper than your experiences. It's the blueprint of something your bloodline longed for but could never touch. You are the living key to doors generations tried to unlock and failed. Think about it. Your ancestors faced battles that seemed unbreakable. They fought cycles of poverty, silence, betrayal, or shame. They may have tried rituals, religion, or raw determination, but no matter how hard they pushed, the lock wouldn't budge. Then you arrived, not because you studied the key, not because you forced it open, but because the code was already pulsing inside you. It's written in your energy, in your frequency, in your very presence. Imagine a vault sealed shut for centuries. Many try their luck, breaking tools, exhausting themselves, leaving frustrated. Then someone comes along, not with force, but with the right alignment. The lock clicks. The door swings open. That's you. You're not the result of effort alone. You're the alignment of timing, bloodline, and spirit converging to fulfill what others couldn't. This is why people react to you in ways they don't even understand. Some feel comforted, as if standing near you brings peace their soul has been craving for years. Others feel exposed, restless, even hostile, because your presence stirs shadows they've been hiding from. You are the mirror that reveals whether someone is ready for growth or destined to stay stuck. There's no neutral reaction to what you carry, because what you carry doesn't allow neutrality. And here's what's wild. Many who cross paths with you think they're just meeting another person. They don't realize that disrespecting you is colliding with every covering, every protection, every force assigned to you. You're not standing alone. You're backed by generations that prayed for you, even if they never saw you. You're upheld by designs etched into the universe before your name was ever spoken. To mishandle you is to mishandle sacred lineage. Now picture someone being handed the keys to a priceless car. They could drive carefully, honor the gift, and go further than they ever imagined. Or they could slam it into a wall, careless, reckless, blind. The result of that choice isn't coincidence, it's consequence. That's what happens when people mishandle you. They're not just offending you, they're colliding with the spiritual laws that guard you. And once those laws are triggered, the fallout is irreversible. This is why so many lives fall apart after crossing you. It's not revenge. It's not karma in the petty sense. It's spiritual law. You were sent to awaken, elevate, and expose. When they chose to betray instead of honor, they set themselves against forces far beyond their control. So, understand this. Your life is more than survival. It's continuation. It's fulfillment. You are the answer to prayers whispered in secret, the manifestation of strength your bloodline didn't get to finish. And because of that, your presence is never casual. It's either a blessing or a lesson. People get to choose which one, but once they choose, they can't escape the cost. You are not just a person walking this earth. You are a code, a frequency, a continuation of something ancient. And every time someone encounters you, they're standing at a threshold. Blessing or lesson, elevation or exposure, that's the decision your presence forces. Every person who crosses your path leaves changed. Whether they admit it or not, whether they celebrate it or resent it, your presence leaves an imprint. And here's the truth that unsettles many. Being near you is always one of two things, a blessing or a lesson. There is no in-between. Think about the people who treated you with honor, who respected your boundaries, who valued your energy. For them, being close to you became a blessing. Their lives elevated, their vision sharpened, their confidence grew. They felt covered, inspired, steadied by your presence. They may not even realize it, but something about your alignment rubbed off on them. You carried them into clarity they didn't have before. That's the power of blessing. Now think of the ones who mocked, disrespected, or mishandled you. What happened to them? Opportunities slipped through their fingers. Relationships crumbled. Restless nights kept them awake. Not because you cursed them, but because they failed the test of proximity. Your presence magnified their shadows, and instead of facing themselves, they chose to mistreat you. That's the power of lesson. Imagine holding a rare artifact in your hands. One person polishes it, protects it, and passes it on with greater value. Another drops it carelessly, scratching it beyond repair. The artifact didn't change, the response did. That's what happens with you. You don't change who you are from one person to the next, but their reaction to you determines what they walk away with, elevation or regret. And here's the part many don't understand. Blessing and lesson look the same at first. Both start with access to you. Both start with laughter, with connection, with shared space. But as time unfolds, the difference becomes obvious. Some grow stronger, clearer, more aligned. Others grow bitter, restless, and haunted by the void left when you finally close the door. That's why your silence is so powerful. When you remove yourself from someone's life, the lesson begins. They feel the absence in ways they can't explain. Suddenly, the peace they once had around you is gone. The covering collapses. The chaos they hid behind returns full force. Your absence is not emptiness, it's reflection. It forces them to confront the truth of who they are without your energy to soften the blow. And here's the divine symmetry of it all. Whether you were a blessing or a lesson, you were necessary. Some people needed the clarity of elevation, others needed the correction of loss. Either way, your presence did its job. It shifted them, it exposed them, it demanded growth they weren't ready for. So don't feel guilty for the fallout in other people's lives. Don't carry the weight of their choices. You didn't hurt them, you revealed them, and the universe handled the rest. Some will rise because of you, others will fall because of you. Both outcomes are part of the assignment. Remember this, you don't chase blessings, and you don't run from lessons. You simply walk in alignment, and your presence sorts people into categories they chose for themselves. For those who honored you, being near you will always be remembered as the turning point. For those who mishandled you, losing you will always be remembered as the consequence. Blessing or lessen your presence guarantees one or the other. That's why access to you is never casual, it's always sacred. Your glow unsettles people not because it's loud or flashy, but because it refuses to go out. You don't shine for attention, you shine because nothing could kill you. Every storm that came to bury you, every betrayal that tried to break you, every setback that should have silenced you, none of it worked. Instead, each one became fuel. Your light was not gifted cheaply, it was forged in pressure that others could not have survived. Think of coal under crushing weight. For most, pressure destroys. For some, pressure transforms. Coal becomes dust when it can't handle the weight. But when the structure is rare, pressure produces a diamond. That's you. Every heavy season, every lonely night, every time the world thought it was watching your ending, what was really happening was your refining. You didn't just survive storms, you became the fire that no storm could extinguish. And this is what irritates people the most. They thought dragging your name through dirt would silence you. Instead, you grew more radiant. They thought removing their support would weaken you. Instead, you discovered strength in silence. They thought betrayal would make you bitter. Instead, it deepened your discernment. Every attempt to dim you only polished the shine. Now picture walking into a room where everyone is scrambling to be noticed. Louder voices, brighter clothes, desperate noise. And then you arrive. You don't fight for attention. You don't announce yourself. Yet all eyes find you. Why? Because your fire isn't performance, it's presence. It burns steady, undeniable, magnetic. You don't glow for them. You glow in spite of them. And here's what burns their envy. They can't replicate it. They try to imitate your words, your style, even your silence. They post more, shout louder, chase applause harder, hoping to manufacture what you embody naturally. But they can't copy scars. They can't fake survival. They can't rehearse the glow that comes from rising after everything tried to bury you. Your fire exposes the difference between attention and alignment. Attention fades when the crowd moves on. Alignment radiates regardless of who's watching. That's why you keep glowing even in solitude. That's why your peace irritates people who thrive on chaos. You carry a light that doesn't depend on stage lights, filters, or trends. It's eternal because it was birthed from endurance. So let them whisper. Let them try to explain your shine as luck or coincidence. Deep down, they know the truth. They know you radiate because you survived. They know your glow is revelation, not decoration. And revelation is dangerous. It forces people to see what's real, what's fake, and what can't be faked anymore. Never apologize for this fire. Never dim it for the fragile. You've paid too high a price to pretend you're ordinary. The glow you carry is your testimony. It is the living proof that survival turns to brilliance when alignment is chosen over bitterness. You are the fire they can't extinguish, the light they can't ignore, the glow that only grows brighter with time. At this point in your journey, you've realized something crucial. Your boundaries are not walls of pride. They are filters of purpose. You don't pull back to punish. You don't go silent to play games. You step away because your spirit knows when the energy has shifted, when intentions are polluted, when someone has mistaken your presence for something disposable. And when that line is crossed, you don't argue, you don't beg, you don't explain. You move quietly, permanently, and with a clarity that speaks louder than confrontation ever could. For too long, people confused your patience with unlimited access. They thought they could mishandle you and still come back as if nothing happened. They treated your energy like a faucet, turn it on, take what they want, and walk away. But the truth is, every time they abused that access, they were writing their own verdict. Because you may have grace, but your grace is not infinite. When it's exhausted, your silence becomes their sentence. Imagine a safety net being misused over and over again. The person keeps jumping recklessly, believing the net will always catch them. Then one day, the net is gone. The next fall isn't cushioned. It's sharp. It's unforgettable. That's what your absence feels like. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual. When you leave, something leaves with you. The clarity, the peace, the covering you carried, it goes too. And suddenly, their own chaos echoes louder without you there to soften the noise. This is why losing you isn't like losing anyone else. It's not just losing a connection, it's losing access to the blessing, the mirror, the alignment you represented. People don't realize it until you're gone. They don't realize that your silence is a reflection, a verdict, a reminder of everything they mishandled. And once that door is closed, no amount of apologies can undo what they set in motion. But let's be clear, your boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. They separate those who honor from those who consume. They protect your peace while teaching others the cost of disrespect. Some will call you cold, distant, even selfish. But that's only because they're facing the lesson of losing what they thought was free. In truth, your boundaries are sacred. They remind the world that your energy is not a playground. Picture a temple with gates. Not everyone gets to walk in casually. There's reverence required, preparation expected, respect demanded. That's your life now. Access to you requires alignment. Mishandle it, and the door closes. It's not pride, it's protection. It's not rejection, it's redirection. Those who are meant to stay will rise to meet your standard. Those who aren't will reveal themselves in their frustration. Either way, your peace remains intact. So don't ever feel guilty for drawing the line. Don't apologize for closing doors. Don't doubt the silence that follows your departure. Because your boundaries aren't walls keeping people out. They are divine filters deciding who deserves to remain close. And those who mishandled you will learn, sooner or later, that losing you wasn't just losing a person. It was losing access to a privilege they never truly honored. There's a reason some people can't look you in the eye for long. It's not because you've done anything wrong, it's because your light drags their shadows into view. You don't need to speak accusations. You don't need to point fingers. The moment you enter a room, whatever they've buried begins to stir. Jealousy, shame, insecurity, hidden envy. It rises like smoke when fire touches what's been hiding too long. That's the nature of your presence. It unmasks. Think of a dark attic sealed for years. Dust piles up. Old boxes hide secrets no one wants to face. Then suddenly, a window is opened and sunlight pours in. The dust dances in the light. The mess becomes undeniable. That's you. Your energy is sunlight, not because you're trying to expose anyone, but because light can't help but reveal what darkness tried to conceal. And this is why some people project their discomfort onto you. They'll call you arrogant, intimidating, or difficult. They'll invent stories to explain why their chest tightens when you arrive. But the truth is simpler. They're wrestling with their own reflection. Your presence acts like a mirror, showing them who they really are, not who they pretend to be. Labels are easier than mirrors. Accusations are easier than self-reflection. That's why they lash out, ghost you, or paint you as the problem. But here's what you must never forget. Their reaction says more about them than it ever will about you. The nervous laughter, the sudden silence, the defensiveness, those are signs that something inside them is being unmasked. You didn't cause the chaos. You revealed it. You didn't plant the insecurity. You just made it impossible to hide. Now imagine this. A courtroom where the guilty think they've hidden all the evidence. They relax, believing the verdict will go their way. Then suddenly, a single piece of undeniable proof is presented, and everything collapses. That's the effect you have on people. You are the evidence they can't suppress. You are the light that makes lies tremble. You are the reminder that truth always rises, even when buried under layers of performance. And let's be clear, this unmasking power isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It separates the ones ready to heal from the ones desperate to hide. Some will be drawn to you because your light gives them hope. Others will run from you because your light threatens their illusion. But both reactions prove the same thing. You cannot be ignored. This is why being near you is never casual. You're not background noise. You're not decoration. You are the test every soul must face when authenticity enters the room. And those who mishandle you aren't just mishandling a person, they're rejecting the mirror that could have changed their life. So, walk boldly, chosen one. Don't dim your light for the fragile. Don't apologize for being the sunlight in rooms addicted to shadows. Because your presence will always do one of two things: heal the ready, or expose the unprepared. Either way, you are fulfilling your assignment. You don't just light up a room, you strip the masks off it. And from this day forward, never forget your light is not just seen, it's undeniable. And those who stand in it will either rise or run. Take a breath here, chosen one. You've just walked through the weight of truths that many spend their whole lives running from. And yet, for you, this is not theory, it's lived reality. You've felt the silence after the storm. You've seen the nervous glances, the shifting tones, the sudden distance when people realize your presence isn't casual. It's sacred. Your journey has proven something undeniable. You were never ordinary. You were never meant to blend into background noise. From the beginning, you were set apart as the kind of presence that either blesses or exposes, heals or convicts. That duality has always been your gift and your challenge. It's why people are drawn to you yet afraid of you, why some cling and others attack. But through it all, one truth remains: you are unshakable. And in this season, you no longer have to explain yourself. You no longer have to beg for recognition, force understanding, or dilute your energy to soothe fragile egos. The time for downplaying is over. The universe already confirmed you. Every storm you've survived, every scar you carry, every silent victory you've won, they've all been stamped into your spirit as proof. Proof that you are protected. Proof that you are undeniable. Proof that being near you is not a right. It is a privilege. So as you close this message, let these words sink deep. You are the evidence. You are the blessing. You are the mirror. And those who mishandled you will carry that lesson long after you've moved on. Don't grieve the loss of access they forfeited. Don't question whether your boundaries were too sharp. The very fact that your presence still lingers in their memory is proof of your rarity. Stand steady, keep walking, glow without apology. The ones meant to walk beside you will rise to the level of your frequency. The ones who can't will fade in the distance. Both outcomes serve your purpose. And if this resonates with your spirit, let it be more than a thought. Declare it in the comments with the words, "I am the privilege. Not for attention, but as a reminder to yourself and to anyone who reads it. Your presence carries weight, and you will never downplay it again. You are chosen. You are covered. You are unforgettable. And from this moment forward, may you rest in the certainty that nothing about you is casual. Your very existence is sacred ground.